Wait. No. That's not Friday music.
We don't have Friday music. Just
Love
go with
this.
it.
Live from room 902 at the COVID-19 suites in downtown Monkeypox. It's an Ari Looks Hungover AF edition of Business Pants Friday featuring, Ari the Data Queen, Matt the BS correspondent, and me, your Tinder swipe left.
Oh, is that good?
And this, no, I don't think so. In this week's episode, lots of important stuff. All right.
I have
right.
the best stuff this week, so.
Whenever Ari's excited, it always bodes well for us.
Why? But then it always comes crashing down, which tries to convince us that.
because she starts so amped, and it means that like for your segment, she's all amped up about her segment.
Yeah, this is how Ari feels inside.
And then it goes all downhill when we realize that all the things that she thinks are good
I really
are not
got
that
it this
good.
week. I really got it this week, you guys. So please.
What is
You
this
ready?
week? Yeah, let's do this.
Ready?
Hey!
The big news. I mean, this is big news. We've been talking about this for a while, making failed predictions. Although maybe actually, I'll have to look back because we might have predicted this in a roundabout way. But there's a new CEO announced at Starbucks. That is Laxman Narasimhan.
Wow.
Nice. Nailed it.
Well, look.
I just want to
let's
say
start-
Damien practiced
Yeah.
that for like 30 minutes this morning.
Well, I was waiting for you to set up the tech. Laxman Narasimhan. Now, here are the things
It's
I
not
like,
getting better.
Okay? First of all, it is part of the next generation of stealth West Asian male CEOs that we have already discussed ad nauseum. So I think in some ways we did predict this because I'll have to dig back. We have
We
randomly
noticed this
predicted
trend.
that a West Indian male CEO will be appointed somewhere. So we might have done it at Starbucks already. So we'll have to look back.
And we do have to look back. I don't think it was Starbucks, but we just for point of reference,
Yeah.
the trend that we're looking at here is very
It's
much
real.
a West Coast trend. It
Real.
is Microsoft in Satya Nadella. It is Google in Sundar Pichai. It is Twitter, Parag Agrawal. And now we're at Starbucks. There are others, right?
It's more than that. IBM, Arvind Krishna, Adobe. There's more. I mean,
I'm just
these are all
saying,
recent hires.
These are recent hires. It seems to be
All men.
a thing. All men, but all
Matt, it doesn't seem to be a thing. It is absolutely a thing. I mean, we're getting up to numbers that are close to female CEOs.
Whoa.
End of story.
That's
No,
right.
really,
We
I
are
mean,
That's crazy.
as a
Yeah.
percentage of all CEOs in the Fortune
We're getting
500.
close.
We have as many West Indian men as women at this point, I believe.
So that's the new CEO of Starbucks, which means they're going to have an all non-white, power duo there with Melody Hobson, which is
Boom.
unusual. It's unusual in America for some reason.
Is that like Hall and Oates? They're like the Hall and Oates of
Yeah,
corporate
it's
America.
the Philly style. The Philly style coming to Seattle. All right. Here's
Wait, the
things I
real
like.
question is, if
yes.
Melody was a man, would she be chair and CEO?
Well, that's a good question. We don't know why. Starbucks made the announcement a few months ago that they were only going to be looking at external candidates. We don't know why. I made the prediction that Melody would be the next CEO, and they probably interviewed her for 2 grueling hours and decided no.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Got it.
I don't
All
know
right.
why.
That's
Here are the things I like.
it.
I like this headline. Starbucks taps head of Lysol maker Reckitt as its new CEO. That's right. From a disinfectant to America's favorite addiction. No, yeah. But this doesn't end, really, because who's taking over Reckitt as the interim CEO? Reckitt Benckiser. It's a former tobacco company CEO. So we're just keeping it in the addiction family. Reckitt also makes Durex condoms, which, sex
an
addicts. I
addiction.
mean, yeah. And, cold syrup. Mucinex cold syrup.
Syrup?
I think most of Europe.
I
would
had
say
no
that we
idea
have
what
a-
you were saying.
Yeah,
We have a
syrup.
very big cold medicine addiction here in the U.S. We like
Purple drink.
We stupidly drink, eat, ingest anything when we feel even a little bit sick over here, and Europeans laugh at us. And the other thing they make at Reckitt is baby formula. That's right. It's an alternative to something that comes out of our own bodies. So there's a lot of addiction going on here.
Comes out of your
That
body?
one's an addiction.
That's a little weird.
Well,
You should get that checked out.
let's not forget that how Nestle's that they took their baby formula literally down the river, the Amazon River, looking for indigenous people to addict to its baby formula, telling them that breast milk was bad for their baby. So isn't that akin to drugs and to getting people addicted to something? Is that not akin? Come on.
I can't argue that point.
Thank you. Locksman used to be at Pepsi, another fabulous member
A
of
lot
our
of
drug
drugs.
empire, sugar drunk
A lot of
empire.
drugs, Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good start here. And I like this unintentional pun number 1. Taps head of Lysol. I'm just imagining a Lysol can. Tapping the head of a Lysol can. All right, number 2. Second thing I like, Matt, this is probably more for you than Ari. Reckitt is based in Slough,
Yeah.
in the UK. That's the home of the British office.
Ricky
You know this?
Gervais.
This is
Yes,
incredible.
It is Slough.
Not only did they find, did they joining the West Indian Male CEO Club, which means that everyone's going to forget who they are instantly because this is the way Americans are, but they picked it from the most forgettable business city known to the world. So forgettable and boring and humdrum that Ricky Gervais created a show about it.
I would love it if it was a
yeah.
business park in Slough, and they had the third floor.
What else do I like? I like this headline: Reckitt CEO resigns on personal grounds. First of all, that's unintentional pun number 2, grounds. But second of all, he resigned on personal grounds. Yeah, it's personal. It's called a better job. Is that what they
Yeah,
mean?
that's a weird way to say that.
Yeah, I mean,
Personal grounds.
I mean, what are we talking about here? This is such a promotion. Not only that, but he gets to leave Slough and go to Seattle. I'd be excited.
But look, there's bad news here.
Yeah. I'm done with the things I like, though, but go ahead.
Well, okay, finish the things you like, because I'll do
There's
the bad
more.
news.
I like this. Starbucks names its new CEO starting in April. April. When is
Wait.
that? In 2020? Never. Everything about this new hire is just completely forgettable. It's just complete snooze fest.
I did hear that they have to wait for him to move from London, Slough to.
Slough, yeah.
I,
take a while.
April, is he coming by the
it seems
Titanic?
like a long time. He's got a lot to pack.
Titanic
That's all I'm
2.
saying.
I also like these alarmingly folksy tidbits about Starbucks' new CEO Manchild. There's a little article about how he lived with his mother during COVID in a 2-bedroom apartment, and he would stop his calls with Reckitt and help his mother answer the door for a grocery delivery. I don't really understand that. Or he would shut the door when he talked about the performance of Reckitt's Dirk's condom brand. Isn't that kind of cute? He's a CEO, but he's too ashamed to talk about condoms in front of his mother?
They're trying to make him relatable. Wow.
Stop. Just
Is it
stop.
working?
That is so juvenile.
I
so childish.
now all of a sudden all I want is Durex condoms. It's the only thing I want right now.
Here's another folksy
They're trying to
tidbit.
make
Yeah.
him, endearing and endearing to us.
Does this help, Ari? Here's another folksy
West
tidbit.
Asian men, I think, are already.
He's a
taking over.
renowned hard
Do you need
worker.
hugs?
One time he fell down the stairs, breaking his elbow the night before Reckitt was due to report results. And he carried on with business as usual. He delivered those reports.
Yeah, get that
With a
TPS
broken
report
elbow.
in. My arm is broken, but I'll hold it with my other hands.
That's a
I
cultural
also-
red flag right there.
I also
Ooh.
like this silly headline
Wow.
from Bloomberg.
I'm sorry.
Starbucks is... Yeah.
You just missed the
Go ahead.
data queen dropping an indicator that we should be tracking, which is
Yep.
Go ahead.
do they continue to work with a broken arm? Because if so,
Elbow.
that seems like that is a cultural
Is that
red
in the
flag.
arm part?
Is your expectation going to be now that the baristas come in with fungus on their toes or what?
Well, it's a good...
And it extrapolates to, oh, you gave birth? I don't care. Broke my elbow.
It's
Oh.
good you notice that, Ari, because one story I didn't include here, which I will now, is that he's known for sending emails before sunrise.
Stop. Everybody knows you can schedule send. That's it. Like,
you think he's
if you're
cheating?
working, just
You think
schedule
he's-
send
you
your
think he's a
emails.
liar.
It doesn't
You think he's
matter.
a big schedule-y liar.
Oh, well, I was thinking that he was a jerk for not using it, but maybe
Yeah.
he's a dirty
Oh, I
liar.
see what you're doing.
Oh, either way,
Uh,
jerk or dirty liar. No
Yep.
winning there.
I also like this silly headline from Bloomberg, which is more and more trying to compete with Business Insider. This is just nonsense headline. Starbucks' boss is a move fast espresso drinker new to retail. I looked at the article, Matt. I read the whole thing. There's nothing about him drinking espresso. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on with Bloomberg.
Well, we'll
What is
find that out in the next proxy, won't we?
We will.
He's going to
I'm
be added
excited.
to the board, and
I'm
we'll have his
excited.
favorite drink.
Bloomberg, it better be espresso. Otherwise, you're living in pure drivel land. 'Cause what are you
Somebody,
doing?
can we have a listener just take a note of this somewhere? Somebody write this down. We need to remember and bring this back up.
And finally, this one's for you, Ari. One additional thing I like about this new hire is that I found this very special note on our founder.
Do you have to say it
fetish.
that way? That's weird.
Yeah. This is from Melody Hobson. This is out of the Wall Street Journal. The quote is, while Ms. Hobson said that the new CEO would be independent, Mr. Schultz, that's Howard Schultz, will continue to play what Ms. Hobson called for a special role at the company.
Oh, special
role.
Yeah, that's the bad news. That it's
Someone's got to
actually
hand out the blankets.
he doesn't start until he starts in
When
October.
is April? I don't even know when April is.
He starts CEO training in October. Like they're going to actually train him on how to be the CEO of Starbucks. And Howard Schultz is
Howard
doing that
Schultz
training.
is going to train it. Don't
Yes.
say they. Howard Schultz.
So Howard Schultz will not go away. The guy who is an upward failure since he started here. He talked about Holocaust blankets. He's quashing unions. He's got the litigation starting. He closed the bathroom to basically the public because of homeless people he wanted to kick out of stores. He's done all sorts of fun stuff. He's the guy training the new CEO.
Yeah, for
He's
a
gonna
long
give
time.
him a big teddy bear
For many
hug.
months. Yeah. Second story of the week. I guess I just had to include it. I don't really care. I don't use it anymore. But
Oh, good.
it seems like big news.
Let's talk
Twitter
about it
is
then.
finally testing an edit button. Edit button 2 years after Jack Dorsey said it would probably never happen. I mean, first of all, who cares that someone said it probably would never happen? That's not a real thing.
Who cares about
Right?
an edit button?
Okay. I can move on from that. That's the second story of the week. The third story, this is a doozy. Sea levels will rise 10 inches no matter what by 2100 because of Greenland's melting ice. This is
No matter
from a new
what.
study. From a new study published in Nature Climate Change and conducted by researchers at the Geological Survey of Denmark and Greenland. Two things. First of all, it's not 10 inches. The study actually is 10.8 inches. So why are we rounding down the 10 for this headline? Anyone know?
Because in the 10.8 was, quote, a very conservative rock bottom minimum, right?
That's
So
the second problem here. You're right. It's a very conservative rock bottom minimum. The story goes on to say that if Greenland's ice melts at the rate recorded in an especially hot year like 2012, sea levels could rise by 30.8 inches. That's right. 30.8
inches.
Yeah. And
So
don't focus
look.
on the 0.8 there. Focus on the 30.
Look, I'm going to turn this lemon into lemonade right now,
Go ahead.
which is go, if you're in the U.S. in particular, you can do this. I know you can do this elsewhere. Go look for real estate.
Right.
After looking at flood zones that are approximately 30 inches up. Like you
That's
can
my
buy
whole city, Matt. I mean,
you-
it's all gone.
I'm just saying you can buy waterfront real estate now. That's the house across the street from the water.
Look for hills.
That's
Saying look for
waterfront
hills.
real estate now. So
Look for
just go
hills,
get
he's
it.
saying.
You just
Silver
invest now,
line.
$2,100, you get all your money back.
Actually, Matt, this could be good for me. I live on a very slight slope up from the bay here in Portland, up from the back cove.
We'll look that up right after the
Hold
show.
on to that.
And
Never
it's
sell
about
it.
a 10-minute walk right now. I think that walk might be decreasing over the
Yeah,
years,
6
right?
minutes. You just cut your walk by 40%.
And finally, the fourth story of the week. I promised Matt 3, but I kind of had to throw this one in. I got to remind people, we talked about this yesterday, Ari. The chair, Luke Oil over in Russia, the chairperson, Ravil Maganov, died yesterday. And the reason for his death is quite unclear. It might be suicide. He might have jumped out of a window. He might have been severely ill.
Could he have been pushed out the window?
Yeah, all we know is
No,
that he criticized
not in
the
Russia.
Russian invasion in the Ukraine. And there's a little tidbit to this reporting in the New York Times, which says other Russian executives tied to the energy industry have died under suspicious circumstances since the Ukraine invasion. So,
Wow.
I mean, I don't even know how does the ESG world report on this? I don't even know. Really, like, what do you do with the no, seriously, how do you rate a company that kills off its own people or its ownership?
It's
right?
not the
'Cause
company,
the
though.
state owns these companies.
Yeah.
It's a controversy flag.
Yeah, right.
There it
What
is.
What color is the
Bingo.
controversy flag? Other than obviously
It's
blood
Black
red.
for
No.
death.
Black for death. Yeah.
It's a cross.
Actually, it's a controversy cross.
Because we're
yeah.
Christian centric.
That's I co-sign everything Ari just said.
Those are my stories. Anyone want to vote? I've got
That's
Luke Oil chair
crazy.
jumps out of a window. Sea levels rising 10 inches. Twitter edit button and a new CEO.
I think the story of the week should be
Starbucks.
you talking closer to your microphone because it sounds like you're far away from your microphone. Just
Well, I adjusted. We had a recording session here yesterday for our new. We have a new corporate theater.
is it backwards? Is your microphone backwards? Can you spin
a
it
new
around?
corporate theater project that we're working on here at Free Float Media, and everything got messed around in my studio.
Yeah, I think you actually turned it backwards. And yeah, note to listeners: have you ever heard of something called corporate theater? Theater of the corporate. That is what we're building right now. That's what Damien's been working on. These are the important insights you're going to get here. All right, Ari, do you have a vote? Do you know what you're voting? I'm torn a little bit.
Yeah, I am torn too. I really like the new CEO at Starbucks, not because Starbucks got a new CEO, but because he goes with all the other trends we have identified.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna pick that one. You know, there was year of the woman CEO some other year, but
Yeah.
this may be the year of the West Asian male CEO.
Not maybe.
I'm torn between that and sea level rise. Although I'm wondering if Greenland really is a West Indian CEO. It's like the country that nobody talks about, like quietly, like enters our zeitgeist and accidentally destroys the universe. Because sea level rising 10 inches, like locked in,
10.8.
I'm not sure that people actually recognize what that means. It means like the next time there's like a sneeze out in the mid-Atlantic somewhere, all of like the coast of North Carolina is gone. Like
What about Manhattan? Have you
Yeah,
been to Manhattan ever?
I've vaguely heard of it. Yes,
Well,
it's
they're
gone.
on, the high rises. They're fine.
And they're not saying that like,
What about the subway
oh,
system?
if we do these 10 things, it'll be fine. What they're saying is, no. If you do the 10 things, you only get, at the most conservative end, 10 inches of sea
Yeah.
level rise. That's what they're saying.
Rock bottom minimum. Very conservative rock. I like that phrase. Very conservative rock bottom minimum. That's a lot of redundancy in there.
That does sound like the GOP
Some
also.
good hyperbole. Yeah.
I think I'm going to force Damien to do a split
Yeah.
vote here, which is I'm
Well,
going to
you know
go
what
sea
I'm gonna
level.
vote for.
Yeah, you're going to vote for the
Uh,
West Indian CEO.
Yeah, because we're a people first. We're the board sabermetrics company. We're people. What are we?
Can you
People
say the
first?
name
What
of
are
our
we?
product a little bit better?
Board
Board-
sabermetrics.
There we go.
Thank you.
We're the people. We're putting the people back into ESG. We're the only ones doing it.
Hell
We're
yeah.
So,
we're gonna
so
we're gonna
I'm excited about it. I'm
make
excited
you
about
our
Locksmith.
official
We've been waiting for
spokesperson.
this for a while. I'm excited. So
Um,
that's the story of the week, Locksmith.
There you go.
All right.
Moving on. Yeah, who's up next? Ooh,
Yeah,
Ari,
who's-
I
goodness
am-
of the week.
With the best stories. All
Okay,
right.
I'm ready.
Good list of the week. Here we go. Continuing with the climate crisis talk, mine is more positive. This is about the climate crisis fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
The crowd's with you.
Technology and legislation for decarbonization. Oops.
Say that nice and clean.
We're going to go with the first headline. I have two headlines for this. How the Inflation Reduction Act will impact U.S. homes. An analysis by the Rocky Mountain Institute
Why are we cheering?
of the...
Yeah.
So an analysis done by the Rocky Mountain Institute of the newly passed Inflation Reduction Act estimates that 7.2 million households will be able to obtain a free heat pump system.
Yes.
This is a system that can cool and heat your house
I'm jealous. I want one of those.
using half as much energy as oil or gas. Now, this is heat and cool. This is, I mean, as it gets colder, as it gets way hotter, like we need stuff that is not only energy efficient, but can do both. So 7.2 million is a conservative estimate, and this is for
How
the
many
free.
households are there?
Is it rock bottom
120.
minimum conservative estimate?
120
That's the
million
only
households.
kind of conservative estimates I'm interested in.
Very
Yes,
conservative
this is
rock
bottom minimum, and this is just for free. This is aimed at low income households. And they said that for other consumers who can take advantage of the tax credit, so this is middle income and higher income households who can put the money up front, this could result in as many as 70 million households acquiring heat pumps. That is
That should be me, Ari. I'm
65%
gonna be
of the
looking into
US.
this. I'm
What?
excited. That could
Yeah.
be me. I'm going to be looking into this.
This is amazing. And the bill also includes money for state-run training programs to help contractors learn about these types of efficiency options and
Okay.
training so they can hire
Alright.
more people so that when 65% of the US households go and try to do this, there's people that can.
You're exhausting the audience, Ari. They're so good for you.
So this is awesome.
You're
Now,
good.
there's people that will say, well, you know, me recycling doesn't help anything, doesn't help anyone. What about the big picture?
Who's saying that? Is that
Yeah,
happening in your house?
who are these make believe
Yeah, where are
people?
you getting these
Like
from?
literally, I've never heard anyone say that.
These are the Debbie Downers.
Oh,
So this for my second story, I'm gonna give you some facts first.
oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
Second
All right.
story. Wait, so, okay, we're on the second story.
About a third of U.S. CO2 emissions come for power plants. All right.
From power
Yes.
plants?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, about 80% of power plants in the U.S. are thermal power plants. That just means they turn heat to electricity. If
Okay.
they're using coal, gas, nuclear reactors, solar power, whatever it is, they're doing the same thing. All right? This is the big news. Scientists have developed a system that can take these existing thermal power plants and make them generate 66% more energy. Can you believe the potential for this? We don't have to build something new from scratch. This isn't like something that people who already own the power plants are going to be upset about. This is a game changer. 66% more energy with an upgrade.
This is like 6-minute abs, but it's better. It's 66% more energy. I love
Yeah,
it.
and it's also better because it's not going to happen by 2050. No,
When's it
this
gonna
can be
happen?
implemented in 3 to 5 years.
Ooh,
I do like that. I have a hard time not dwelling on the fact
On what?
that the vast majority of energy, not just in the U.S. but everywhere, comes from you heat something up, usually water, turn it into steam, and it turns a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the same way they made energy in 1300 to like run a mill.
Absolutely.
What the hell have we been doing?
I don't know.
So, the trick here, the big upgrade is that instead of
Yes.
using water, they're going to use a form of CO2. Now, using the form of CO2, they've known that this is more efficient than using water. This is called the Brayton cycle. They've known this for decades. They've known this since like 1960.
What are we
The
doing?
audience is really into
They
you
did
today.
not have the technology to
I
do
see.
this substitution, and now they do.
Okay. So more energy.
And the
66 more
prototype
energy,
has
yeah.
worked in
Okay.
a lab in Albuquerque.
A lab?
Where scientists,
Oh, now
you know,
I'm
the
let
real
down.
heroes.
That's
What
like
do you mean? No.
that's like a mouse getting a drug that makes it
So
regrow hair.
Now, who is responsible for this? Is this a company? These are scientists? Who are these people?
These are scientists in a government-backed
Okay,
lab
got it.
who are producing power at
Fauci.
a
Sounds
higher,
like
more
Fauciism.
efficient rate.
Yeah.
Damien, touch your microphone again. I think it might have been the right way last time, or maybe it's in the middle. There's a little heart on your microphone. Make
No,
it
I
face
know,
your
I can't
mouth.
see the heart.
Yeah, take that thing off and look for the heart. Make it face your mouth.
Just keep talking and I'll look.
All right, so that was my number one, technology and legislation for decarbonization. Now, number 2.
Wait, that was all number 1?
That was all
Yeah,
number
that was
1, yeah.
we
Lots
still got
of
two
stories.
more.
You're exhausting. Stop it. Wait, so
The
there's-
other
it's
two- the other two
Wait,
will
so
go by
it's 2
quickly.
parts. Okay, so it's about the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's about 66%.
It's
more
just
energy?
it's tech, climate tech energy. That's the
It's just
good
climate-
list. Yeah, it's climate
porn. Got it.
climate porn, porny climate.
Got it.
Climate
Well,
crisis
you're
fight.
really loading the deck here, Ari. I feel like you're cheating. You're really loading number 1. All right,
Just
what's number
wait,
2?
wait for it though.
Number 2. Next time a dude or dudette complains about having a female manager, because,
what
you know, we
dudette
all
does that?
hold,
Yeah,
you know,
they do.
it
They
still
do.
exists. Women are
No,
sexist too.
I remember that a lot. Yeah. Go ahead.
You can let them know about this new finding from researchers
Really
That found that-
rolling this one out. Yeah.
when given the task of deciding how much to compensate employees for a set task, male
Yeah.
managers chose to keep more for themselves than female managers.
Oh.
And
No one
researchers-
anywhere is shocked.
Well,
No,
researchers
of
were
course
shocked
Were
at
they though?
how drastic the discrepancy was.
Oh, really?
Yep. But, you know, managers, they can be assholes, and that applies to anyone. The study found that both male and female managers took advantage of, and I quote, opportunities to enrich themselves by paying lower wages when the circumstances allowed for this. But
Okay.
operating within this, female managers awarded 13% more than their male counterparts. So you'll make more money.
The story is you want to get paid, ask for a female manager.
Right.
Right. But
So,
you're only gonna,
They'll
but they're still
screwed.
gonna
They'll screw
you're
you
still gonna
less.
they'll screw you less. That's the
Correct.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
The good news is they screw you less.
Less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. It's a small victory.
All right.
That's number
What's
2.
number 3?
Number 3, here's a headline. Milk money. The national baby formula shortage that wreaked havoc for parents created an opening for four startups competing in the $4 billion market.
Okay.
There are 2
Why-
baby formula
convince
brands.
us why this is good.
Yeah,
news.
I don't
Yeah.
care about this.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is awesome.
No,
This is
convince
corporate
us.
governance.
This is your job. This is your
Okay.
job. Convince us. We're voting.
2 companies that I'm choosing to highlight. Bobby, that launched in
Bob.
2021, and
Bobby.
By Heart, that launched
Okay.
this past March. They have raised $250 million in venture capital. Bobby saw sales skyrocket, and just last month, they landed a very coveted Target shelf spot.
Ari, this sounds like a press release.
No, this is real.
Convince us it's good.
Okay, so why it's good?
Yeah.
Because as we know, three
Yes.
companies control most of the baby formula production.
Does
in this
Damien know
country, right?
that?
No, I do know that. We talked about that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yes, we've talked about that to death almost.
Ooh, ouch.
These companies have not changed their baby, like they have not adapted to who they're selling to. So now millennial parents, they want different things. They are a different type of customer. And these brands are targeting these millennial parents, and they're catering to the ethical shopping habits.
I
That-
mean, maybe this is good. I guess it's good.
It is
Can you
very
read-
good. Are you
Can you at
kidding?
least tell me, or is Bobby or By Heart, or is at least one of them led by a female management team?
Yes. Bobby.
Oh, really?
Bobby was launched by somebody who I think she was an executive at a tech company, and she went out to buy baby formula, and she turned to the back of an Abbott baby formula can and saw all this crap that she did not want to give her baby. And it's like, okay, where is my organic, where's my Whole Foods type of baby formula? And there was none. And she was like, I'm going to go out and make this thing.
And then she fell down the stairs and broke her elbow.
And then
All right.
use
Then
that
she
as
ended
a,
up in Target.
That could be good. Matt, come on, weigh in here.
So that's it.
She's giving
I
you
got
three good options.
First of all,
The diversification of the baby formula industry. Female managers suck less.
Yes,
the men.
I love that.
Male-
Come on.
Male managers. And a whole slew of climate change nonsense, including maybe the most important part, a free heat pump for me. That's what I'm focused on.
Diversification is good. I don't know why this would be the story of this week, considering Bobby launched in 2021 and ByHeart launched in March.
Because they raised $250 million this week.
Yes, like you can sneeze and raise $250 million if you're a
please do.
You're
Aren't you the one in charge of raising funds around here?
I'm
Start sneezing.
Number
Charge of
2,
everything.
the second story. I'm just worried that Ari's gunning for both of our jobs is what's happening. She wants to be a less sucky manager than us. So that to me seems like as a white male full of privilege, that feels dangerous to me. Stop trying to take my rightful job that I did nothing to acquire. So I'm going to go with the climate crisis tech. The fact that you can simultaneously drop, because of this bill, drop the energy needs and costs of your home and improve the efficiency of the energy that you're getting in your home. That seems like a win-win. So that's a win. That's it. It's not that hard.
And once again, backing up my boring argument about, I just don't understand why oil and gas companies don't just realize that instead of like whining, there's so much money to be made here. Make some other stuff. Make some money.
This just feels
No, they're
like
partnering.
Oh,
Well,
good.
all
See, they're
power
partnering.
plants are partnering with these people to make
if only
their power plant more
BlackRock was
efficient.
listening and would stop discriminating against all this climate tech.
I feel like there's not much of a choice here, unfortunately. Like the female managers sucking less. I mean, look,
I think that's funny.
it's
It is funny.
I don't feel great about it. I feel better about it. We're still struggling to hire female managers, even in the 2 years we've been running this stupid company. It's like it's
Are we?
the
Are we
rate the
looking for female
glaciers
managers?
that the rate the glaciers are melting is way faster than the rate that the glacial increase in female. There's something poetic there I can't work out.
There's some really complicated math.
I still feel uncomfortable in general about baby formula. I know it's important for some mothers, but in general, I feel like there's probably too much of it. So I'm just torn on this one in general. Although I did go to hibobby.com. That's one of the companies you mentioned. And Ari, you're right. There's a female founder, and it looks like an all-female board. I think they call it the mother board.
Oh, all right. Oh, wow. I like that
The
a
only problem is
lot.
they don't say who these people are. I can't click on them. I don't know if this is legit. I don't know if it's just pictures of their friends. But
Just
I'll
the
take
idea.
it.
That's just the
I'll take
idea
it.
is great. The idea is great. Wow,
They
I'm
got
really-
some
'Cause
creativity.
I'm tempted to
'Cause
change my vote just for that. You
I'm
buried the
looking- yeah.
lead.
Oops.
I'm looking for companies that are more than just female led. I want just like female domination, just like Finland and it's all in its cabinet. I want female dominated companies. I think we
We've
can do
earned
this
that.
now. We can
We've
dominate companies
earned
by
it.
women. But I still can't really vote for that one because the first one is there's just too many cool things in there, and I agree with Matt. So I'm just gonna vote
somehow
for
I always
free
disappoint
heat
you.
pumps. No, what?
If I have a cool
That's not
thing or
true.
not, it's just
That's not
no way to
true.
make it happen.
Absolutely not. No, I said I like Bobby. I like their motherboard. But anyway, the goodies of the week has to be free heat pumps.
Yeah, give me the heat pumps
Yeah.
all day long. We
Now to
actually
bring
have a
us
heat pump
down, our chief board sabermetrics correspondent, lovingly known around here as what? BS
here.
man?
The
What do
BS
you-
analyst. I'm a
BS
BS
analyst.
analyst.
Matthew Muscardi with as holiest of the week. Come on.
Okay, there's 3 options here. They're not that long. I want to start with my first option, which is Mudge. Peter Zatko.
Yuck.
Here's the story was Elon Musk has subpoenaed Twitter whistleblower Peter Zatko amid his legal battle with the platform. So they asked Mudge whether or not he did this to help Elon Musk. And I have to raise a bullshit flag on this quote from Mudge's
course.
lawyers, which was, quote, Mr. Zatko will comply with his legal obligations of that subpoena and his appearance at the deposition is involuntary. He did not make his whistleblower disclosures to the appropriate governmental bodies to benefit Musk or to harm Twitter, but rather to protect the American public and Twitter shareholders. That's what they said in their statement.
Sure.
He was fired from Twitter because they said he sucked at his job. So you didn't do it to harm Twitter? You might not have done it to harm Musk, except that
Yeah.
In 2011, Zatko was at DARPA, which was exactly when SpaceX was hired by DARPA to build the Falcon Heavy. In 2013, Mudge moved with Regina Dugan to Google. Dugan, who was also from DARPA, goes on to do mind-reading tech at Facebook, which competes with Musk and Neuralink. So they very clearly, there's this intertwining Silicon Valley thing going on. I don't know if Zatko knows Musk. But I get this, like, you know how you get that, like, spidey sense, your governance spidey sense tingles?
Yeah.
I get that spidey sense tingling that Zatko is connected somewhere to Musk through people in common, right?
Yeah, because I'm not
Maybe
here
it's
to
his wife and her cheating habits.
Ooh.
Or
who's
wait,
cheating
is
habits?
this
Mudge's?
wrong? This is the wrong one. Sorry,
Hey, what
I
are you
can't
talking
keep them
about? How
straight.
dare you?
Yeah,
It
Wow.
was
About Mudge's
Sergey's
wife.
wife, right? It was Sergey's wife.
It was Sergey's wife, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big.
Look,
there was a big orgy somewhere, and they were both there, guaranteed.
I know in this Musk Twitter where we usually we're anti-Musk, I'm not pro-Twitter. I just want to put that out there. I don't want Twitter to succeed. But
No, I do want
it
Twitter
does
to
seem like
succeed.
the timing of this is because Twitter is the most depressing thing I've come across in the last, 10 years. But the timing of this does seem a bit odd.
It's like
right?
perfect for Musk.
It's perfectly timed for the defendant, in this case, Elon Musk.
I mean, worth saying that, like, Zatko was fired like months ago, and the whistleblower.
Maybe it took him a long time to write that. It's an 80-page report. Maybe it took him a while. That'd take me a while.
I guess. But look, the real reason he's my asshole of the week is because I just want Musk and Twitter to go away. First of all, I want Musk to be forced to buy Twitter because he signed a piece of paper that said, I give up all due diligence. I care nothing about it. I want to buy Twitter. I want to fix Twitter. And then he's complaining because he has less money when he has to buy Twitter. I just want the rules to apply to Musk, Twitter to get bought. I leave Twitter permanently because it's a terrible place and no one needs it. And Zatko goes away. Mudge goes away. Elon Musk and Twitter go away. That's what I want. So stop being an asshole and making this longer than it needs to be, Mudge. Nobody wants it. Number 2 asshole of the week.
Number 2.
Blake Masters.
Oh, don't. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
It has to be. He said, and could not cram it back in the toothpaste container. He said, quote, after talking about inflation and stuff, quote, finally a compelling explanation for why our economy is doing so well, sarcasm, Mr. Masters wrote on Sunday in response to an Associated Press report that found that there were, according to the news agency, quote, more female, black, and gay officials contributing to the central bank's interest rate decisions than at any time in his 109-year history. So he blamed diversity for inflation. He blamed inflation
they had a
on
very
diversity.
quick effect. Can I say, that's a lot of power. I mean, they've been barely there. He's saying that it's all happened
there for
like
9
that.
seconds. 9 seconds. He's
Amazing.
all it took to destroy Blake Masters. I think the rest of us would like to say, go fuck yourself. And finally, number 3. Now, this is a story out of the National Law Review. And here's the title of the story. I'm just going to read the title and then quotes from it because it was so triggering to me. The title is How Women Can Infiltrate Corporate Boardrooms.
Infiltrate?
Infiltrate? That, like, as in the corporate boardroom is this, like, wholesome little place. And look, outside, the women are infiltrating it.
Yeah, it really has like a treehouse feel to it, right? Like
Who wrote
was
this?
that from Calvin and Hobbes? No girls allowed.
Yes,
kinda?
that's what it is. And
Yeah.
here are the quotes from it. This is actually a reporting on a panel that happened about adding women to boardrooms, where women who were board members talked about methods and techniques to get into boards. So everything about this triggered me next, because here's quote number 1. Quote, the first step on a board journey is to show interest in leadership.
What?
That was a problem. Like, women everywhere were like, I'm not that interested in being a leader of any kind. I don't want to lead anything. So your
Wait a
first
minute.
tip.
This is totally valid. Because of
Is it?
people, yes, because people are overlooking women because they have the assumption they have no interest in leadership. So
No.
being like, hey, I'm interested.
The bias.
That's why they're overlooking women.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
that's-
bias of the people
not because they're
overlooking
women.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
that's not it.
exactly.
The problem is the systemic bias against them.
But,
I
but
agree.
Ari, but
women
Ari, if you
have
a-
interest in leadership. Period.
If you have an MBA degree, if you get a JD, if you just like work at one of these terrible companies, don't you have an interest in leadership? I mean, just by showing up, basically.
Here's
Yeah.
how I would rewrite that quote. The first
Yeah.
step of a board journey is to show interest in leadership. Should be rewritten as, you all have interest in leadership. The first step is to yell in people's faces because they're not paying attention to you because you're a woman. Stand up and say, I'm a leader. I should be considered. How about that? That's a
You're
better
depressed.
quote.
This is depressing. I'm feeling depressed.
Way better.
Quote number 2. Quote, in all of my experiences, boards came to me not because I'm better than anyone else, but because they know me. Reach out, spread your wings, and help other
Spread
people
your wings.
without expecting anything in return.
This is sad for women.
Without expect, do you think a white man would do anything if they didn't
I know,
expect
this
something in
is just-
return?
this is just depressing. Can you imagine this? I mean, really.
Here's my problem with this whole thing, because it is reporting of a panel where women were talking, 2 other women on the panel, about being women on boards. I don't agree that, like, I think this is the problem. Women, I'm not a woman. I know there are structural challenges and barriers to all these things, but helping other people without expecting anything in return is not how you get a board position. It's not how you get any position. In fact, everything is transactional in a white man's world. All we do is horse trade one another. Ari hears me bro out with people on phone calls, and
It's
that's how I
disgusting.
get jobs. Like, that's
Well,
how
it's-
we get
it's
money.
There's a sad irony here to that quote too, because they're essentially they're asking women to play the mother role, right? That's
Right.
the role where they
That's
help other
right.
people without. But that's why men overlook them, because they have had this
Because you're
lifelong
doing that.
fear and hate of womanhood based on by their relationship with their mothers. I suppose. I don't know.
I
I don't
hate
know what's
it.
going on.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And not to mention that the quote says,
Without
that
expecting anything in return.
boards
Jesus,
came to
what's
me
going
not
on?
because I'm
It's
better.
anti-capitalist.
Not because I'm better, but because they know me. They basically are saying, like, you have to be part of the bro network in
Yeah,
order
but
to get
how?
boards. You don't be
How?
better. You just be part of the bro network.
But
That's
how
what
do you
that
do that?
says.
This
How
is
do you
very
become part of the bro
Sheryl
network?
Sandberg lean in shit.
Right,
I
but
know.
how? How do you lean in? How do you get there in the first place?
I mean, read the article. It gives you all the tips and tricks to not actually get a
I'm
board
feeling very
role, to-
triggered by this. Feeling very
That's
triggered.
why I
What
put
else
it
you
in
got?
here. And here's the next quote. Quote, be ready when they tap you on the shoulder. They?
Oh, that's just it's assuming something that again is making me feel very triggered.
It's like, just wait. The boys will notice you someday, and then they might actually let you join their club.
And you have to quietly sit there.
You just
This
sit
is like
ready.
A perverse game of duck, duck, goose. Like you're just quietly sitting
be
there,
ready, but just be ready.
waiting. Yeah,
Next
you gotta
thing you
tap
know, you're drenched.
And then
Yeah.
finally, they discuss the fact that that it's mostly white men in the boardroom. They say, quote, I remember the feeling the first time I walked into a boardroom. It was all white men, a generation older than me, but I thought I have an advantage because none of these men have lived the life I've lived.
Well, I can
No.
support that.
No, you don't have an advantage. When you're in a room
Well, that's
full of
true.
all
That's
white
true.
men
Yeah.
who are older
That's
than
true.
you do not have an advantage. You have
Yeah.
a
Well,
disadvantage. None of them want
That's
to
the
listen
problem,
to you.
right? Because
You
they
are-
don't see the business case for diversity like the rest of us. So you're right. Like that's the problem.
It's literally there. It's Parks and Rec where they have like a calendar with Leslie's menstrual cycles written out on them, so they know when to ignore you. Like it's that. That's what you don't have an advantage. I'm sorry. And the life you've lived, you think your merit is an advantage in a room full of white men who are older than you? Your merit is nothing. Like you
Wishful
have to be
thinking.
louder.
Who wrote this
better.
article? Who wrote this article?
That's what I'm
A
saying.
woman.
A woman wrote the
we know who
article
wrote
about a
this?
bunch of women at a conference talking about being women on boards.
Okay.
If you want to be a woman on a board, we have board sabermetrics to help you. We actually can show you where like you're going to have all the advantages and all the disadvantages. We can show you the bullshit that men have as their background to get them the jobs versus women. We know Damien wrote the paper on the fact that women are more educated than their male counterparts on average. They are younger on average. Everything a woman has to do has had to be 50 times better than any man to get the job. Stop waiting to get tapped on the shoulder patiently. Stop thinking you have an advantage just because you've lived some life that the white men have never lived. And don't think that you like have to show an interest in leadership by saying like, "Excuse me, sir, I'm also interested in leadership."
All right, stop. You're killing me. This is too depressing.
And that is my
Buzzing you
third.
out.
That's my third
Tapping
asshole
you
of the
out.
week.
I can't take it. This is from the National Law Review, of course.
Yes, the
That's
National
nuts.
Law Review covered.
But what
it.
do we know? Do we know anything about the National Law Review? Do we know anything about it?
I don't care. I just read the
Okay.
article, and they are assholes.
I triggered
Don't
you. All right,
publish
Ari,
this bullshit.
Here are your three choices for Assholiest of the Week. You got Mudge, that's the Twitter whistleblower. You got Blake Masters, who's a horrible loser of an individual running for Senate, right, in Arizona.
Yeah,
And
he's the Teal.
Funded
he
by
worked for
Peter Thiel.
Yeah, worked
Yeah.
for.
Who is currently scrubbing his websites of his opinion about abortion. And,
Yeah, he had to dial that all back.
insurrection.
Apparently, because he was like
Yeah.
very like angrily
He realizes that women vote. He
anti-abortion,
realizes that women vote.
and then
Yeah.
and then was like, oh shit, it's not working out for me. Okay, well I'll change
Yeah.
my opinion on that, I guess.
And it's funny because Matt, to me that's the equivalent, right? Like the what you were just talking about with women on the boards is the equivalent is this abortion issue, because I don't think that men should even be allowed to vote on the legislation of women's bodies. So it's like, to me there's an equivalency here. Like you're waiting for a board of 10 men to let you in the door. Like you're just gonna wait. Like
Just wait outside.
Anyway.
Someone will let you in someday. I also
and
Blake Masters scrubbing.
yeah.
Someone needs to like it's not okay to scrub your website of talking points that you had before, because what you're effectively saying is that is what I originally thought to get me this far. I will
Right.
scrub those thoughts in order to get elected. When he's elected, do you think he stops having those thoughts? Do you think his anti-abortion stance has changed from what he thought originally to
Nope.
like because he scrubbed it to get no.
Well, Matt, we
Don't
must
be
be. We're
idiots.
probably the number
Well,
one snarky
And if they do
ESG
change, they can, like, somebody who legitimately changes opinion on something, which can happen, they should acknowledge their previous
Can't
my
opinion,
opinion
and share.
changed. Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Can't happen.
I'm with
share
you.
why.
Ari,
100.
the good news are is
I
that
totally
we're-
buy in.
I think we're the number one rated snarky ESG show in Arizona, so they're going to get all this information about Blake Masters right now. They're going to make
That's
the
all
right
true.
decision. And the third asshole of the week, according to Matt Muscardi, is
The National Law
an
Review.
article from the National Law Review called "How Women Can Infiltrate Corporate Boardrooms." You have
Infiltrate. Unfucking
you have a
real.
feeling here, Ari?
Yeah, I mean, the last one is just enraging in a very gaslighty sort of way.
It's not really
And
of the
you know
week,
what?
though,
Maybe
right?
the headline, that is what women do. I think it's accurate. They infiltrate it. It just feels like, you know,
Yeah.
we're trying to sneak in. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
we
reality
made
there.
it.
Yeah.
I think,
Mhm.
but like everything about it is just annoying. However, Blake Masters, man, definitely an asshole this week. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Ari because he's sort of talking directly at us, really. Like he's speaking the language of diversity. I don't know what he's doing. He's talking to us. No, Matt, right?
I don't
Directly at
care who
us.
he's talking to. He's a heinous human being. Who cares?
Yeah, he's making the case that diversity is ruining our country, which is just about as abhorrent and appalling. Yeah. So
If it wasn't for all the blacks, it'd
Ari.
be better. That's basically what he's
Yeah, I
saying.
agree with you. Absolutely. Asshole of the week. You don't even have to weigh in here, Matt. Is Blake Masters?
Good. I won't weigh
Uh,
in.
Please, in Arizona, please vote against this potential monster. That's the show. That's we got asshole of the week, Blake Masters. Goodliest of the week is free heat pumps, and story of the week, new CEO at Starbucks. Before we get out of here, which would be nice to do, who won the week?
Woohoo!
Anybody?
Yeah, Ari, do you have one? You have a winner?
Yeah, I do. Mine is a little unrelated, but I'm going to say Serena Williams.
It's not unrelated.
Oh, that's a
And
great
you're right.
pick.
You're right,
You
because
know?
my wife too, Ari, is watching Serena Williams. She tried to convince us the other day at dinner that she's been watching Serena for years, but the reality is that
no, she has.
nobody has.
Nobody.
Everyone's
she
just
hasn't.
watching now.
I
which is
love
fine. It's
this,
okay.
and I'm
Fine.
excited for her post tennis player life, and I hope she gets
You
way
are
deeper
really?
into
She's a venture-
business and
she's a
way
venture
more on the
capitalist.
corporate boards.
That's true.
Exactly.
She's
That's
on the
exactly.
board
I like
of the Real too. She's like
Yeah,
legit.
she's married to a Reddit founder, right?
She's
So
legit.
she's-
Who cares who she's
Reddit
married to?
founder
She's
was
legit.
lucky enough to marry her. Yep.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I
won.
don't know if I can
Uh,
compete with that.
Let me go with mine. Actually, you go first, Matt. Who won the week?
I went with Indian American CEO succession planners.
It's one of the most rising class of industry sectors. I saw this in Bloomberg Business. The number one consulting service in the world, rising. Indian American CEO.
I was waiting for you to lean
Could
all the
you
way through
imagine?
it. Can you imagine if that was a job title? But no, I do
love
feel
it.
like
We
like
should get into that when this fails.
yeah, there's some consultancy. I actually, one of the things we need to look up is all these tech companies, which consultancies they use for their succession planning, because there's probably
Yeah.
one in common. They're like, and they're really killing it with the Indian American
They're killing it,
CEO
all
succession
right.
planning. I love
They're
that.
killing it. That I just said all of West India, but we're basically thinking.
We're
the same way.
basically
But I
the
think
same
the
thing.
whole,
It's the same
entirety
thing.
of
The whole
West
thing.
India.
Oh,
they won the week.
yeah. Okay, got it.
Predictions. I have one. I'll go first. I don't know if you guys have one. My prediction is that a business journalist finally realizes that the new CEO of Starbucks has a significant unionization revolution happening and does some actual research about how the new CEO of Starbucks might address this issue. Because I read about 14 articles, they all dropped the ball on that. Nobody seemed to care. They're all focused on nothing. And maybe this is the genius behind like hiring these West Indian CEOs, is that no one knows how to talk about them. We talked about this before. They don't know how to attack them. They don't know what to say. But none of the business media so far has addressed that very issue. Is what is Locksman's relationship to labor? How do they think he's gonna treat this movement? I would like to find out. Someone write
doesn't
about
matter
it, please.
because he's about to go to like boot camp training with Mr. Union Squasher
true.
himself.
Yeah,
That's
the union
problem.
squash.
6 months of it. 6 months.
You're right.
I also have a
Sorry.
prediction, and this will
ahead.
get us out of here. The
Wait,
prediction
no, I have
is.
one too.
Oh, you have a prediction?
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
do.
have anything written down.
Yeah.
I predict Blake Masters is going to lose.
Oh, that's a fast prediction. That's
Yeah, we
no,
don't do
that's
politics here.
this is not aspirations
Audience,
of the week. This
we're
is
bipartisan.
predictions. This is predictions of the week. All right,
Talk to me.
I have a real
Election day.
prediction. Are you ready for my real prediction?
Please.
That isn't an aspiration. I predict that. Where'd my music go? My music got killed.
No, go ahead.
I predict a woman gets a board job because they had a life advantage. They helped other people without expecting anything in return, and they showed interest in leadership after getting tapped on the shoulder. That's what I predict.
If only
That's
if
how
only they
Cheryl
wanted
did
to
it.
be leaders. Yeah, if only they wanted to be leaders, I think we'd have more.
If
women
you
in
just
leadership.
paid
they just
attention to
want-
them, you'd realize they have an advantage. And
I think this is why every presidential candidate in American history has failed, because they didn't want to be president. They didn't want to be leaders.
I believe
Right?
that's true. Yeah.
They just didn't want it.
They didn't want it enough. That's why they didn't get it. That is
No, they didn't want it
Damien-
at all.
Oh, at all? Oh, wow. Okay, we're going there. That is Damian Rollis and Ari the Data Queen, and I am Matt Muscardi, the BS analyst. This was Business Pants. We'll be back with you next week with more of something. We don't even know what we do here anymore. So until then.